Hi guys, welcome back to Scott Family Homestead. I'm Christine, a mom of 4 littles, ages 11, 9, 6, and 2, and I grow a very large garden to help feed my family. So I am here to give you a tour of our Zone 4 garden here at the end of August. In our area, gardening is really fast and furious. We do not get to plant until usually early June, and then come this time of year, everything's ready all at once. We have such a short period of time that we cannot stagger things the way other areas can. So if you are a Zone 4 gardener, you totally get it. It is time to just start putting stuff into jars. So we are doing the Every Bit Counts challenge hosted by Three Rivers Homestead. You can see our last few videos are all part of that. Every week we are showing and sharing what we are working on to get stuff put into the pantry coming out of this fairly large garden that we have. We do have a high tunnel. We have our front garden of raised beds. We're gonna talk about that a little bit today. I do have Vego garden beds in here, and I have to give a shout out to them. We have been using their products and we absolutely love them, and they reached out to us and sent a couple of new products along for us to try out. So I'm gonna unbox those today and show them to you, but primarily we're gonna be touring this garden. We also have an outdoor garden. I'm by our big hay pile right now, but right behind here, we have our outdoor garden, which is a bit of a weedy mess. It'll make you feel really good about your garden, I'll tell you that. So I'm really excited to show you some new things, some things that we're working on, and then one of our primary goals today, I'm trying to pick a lot of veggies so that we can do some end of the garden pickles, and that will be in our next Every Bit Counts challenge video. But you can put peppers, carrots, beans, onions, all kinds of goodies in there, pickle them all together. It's great to bring to holidays or events or just something for snacking or charcuterie. So we are going to go ahead and get a bunch of stuff harvested today for that. We just recently took out over 50 pounds of produce out of here, and it just keeps coming. So I invite you to be my new gardening best friend. Come hang out with me. Let's go tour this garden. One of the first things that you see when you come to our garden and over our driveway is irrigation. We have hoses and irrigation lines that go along the side of the high tunnel. We run our meat birds over here, and so we always have hoses all over the place. I am so excited to try the new hose reel, but this is the main reason why. Mowing is a problem, people driving through is a problem, so we're gonna get this taken care of today, and I'm really excited about that. But here is my front garden. We have 2 types of garden beds in here, and then we have our green stalk towers on the end, which we will get to that in just a minute. We have our big 17-inch Vego garden beds, and then we have a smaller Amazon version. I'll show you the difference and the quality difference and what we have planted in there. All right, in here we do have a bit of a weedy mess, and some things are just done. This green stalk tower is completely done. It has a lot of things that have gone to seed that we're gonna try to save, mostly just lettuces and radishes. That's why we have all of this dead looking stuff in here. We're gonna save seeds from that. This was my 6-year-old's garden bed this year. He's got these cosmos that he planted at school. He grew some zinnias back in here, and then I put a few herbs and just fillers in here. And then he also has a little melon with 1 single melon on it. He's very excited. So we'll see how that goes. These cosmos have also gone to seed, and they are super easy to save. You're just gonna pull them right off of there. So I don't mind if these come back. We'll leave some in here, but we'll also save some of these because he was really excited about this. And I'll let him do that. Come pick all the seeds off and save it for next year. We'll plant some more. But a very easy plant to seed save, and it will self-sow. It'll drop these seeds, and you'll probably have them coming back year after year. In Zone 4, it's difficult to get stuff to overwinter like that and self-seed, so when you find one that does well, that's always really cool. So I have had success with cosmos, and they'll just kind of come back next year. Behind here, we get to our honey nut squash. And they're still putting on flowers, but we have a few honey nuts in here. And I love how this just cascaded out of this garden bed. It is so cool. Such a big plant growing in here. Amazing that that came from a little seed. You can hardly even see this garden bed in here. I promise you it's a really nice size. But we have got so many bush beans in here. A lot of them are dragon tongue beans. We're getting to the end of them now, which is why the end of the garden pickles is gonna be great. We've got some just big leftover beans in here. They are still flowering, so we could get some more, but this is just filled. We got a lot of good food out of here. A lot of it's gone into the freezers. And now we're getting some beautiful zinnias that we kind of just tucked in on the very end over here. These are salmon zinnias, I believe. We've also got some reds in here. I have a green stalk that is so full, you can barely see it back here. This is all full of peppers, and they're a little bit behind. These were the very last thing that I planted this year. A lot of these are banana peppers, and then I do have some hot peppers in there as well. So we'll see if we get any actual produce out of it, but it's definitely growing well. We've got some basil and rosemary in here as well. We have nasturtiums. I like to do herbs on the top of these. They get a little bit more water on the top that makes it so that things grow a little bit better. The bigger plants I put towards the bottom. We get another little patch of zinnias here. So that's most of this side of the garden. My 11-year-old did have this garden bed. His stuff is mostly done. He's got a melon in here. I don't think it has any melons on it. This was transplanted from his brother's garden. He did have a whole bunch of peas. He mostly grew peas, and those are done, and he's got this beautiful sunflower that's getting droopy and old now. We have this garden bed here, which is primarily carrots. We've got some melons on the end. These are Minnesota midget melons. They are little cantaloupes, and there's a few in there hanging out. They're very small melons. I have the best luck with melons and a lot of other things, peppers. On the smaller side, they just are able to finish in our short season versus some of the bigger ones. And I have a big volunteer tomato plant in here. And then just real quick, I want to point this out. It's kind of hidden in here. This is our Vego toolbox, and I love this. It hooks onto the side of your garden bed, and it keeps all my tools in there. So if my kids come out and they need to cut something or weed something, they can just come and grab it out of the toolbox. It's out here all the time. We don't have to haul tools back and forth. It has honestly been a game changer for me because I'm always losing stuff. So now we know where to look, designated space to have it. So we really like that. And it's just kind of tucked away, hidden in the jungle that is the garden. All right, over here you can kind of see the difference between the garden beds. So these are the cheapy Amazon kit gardens. They work, but they're small. So they're gonna be shorter, they're gonna be smaller, and they have a little bit of a sharp edge to them, which isn't too much of a problem, but they have thinner sides, so you're going to get a little bit of bowing and misshapen with this because of that, and especially as you fill it with more dirt and heavier dirt. So these are completely budget-friendly, usable garden beds, but we did try out the Vego garden beds, and I have to say, I love it. I don't do deals or product recommendations for companies that I don't already use and love. So we like this a lot. It is much taller. This one's 17 inches tall. I don't have to bend over to harvest anything out of here. I'm not crouching down. Even though it's not that much of a difference, it does make a difference, I promise. The metal is so nice and thick. It does come flat packed. You do have to put it together. It's all 100% stainless steel fixtures. The paint on it is USDA approved paint, and everything in here is non-toxic. So I feel really good about buying these. Great warranty on them, and there's absolutely no bowing of it at all. We filled these with our tractor. We took compost and just dumped it in here. We did put sticks and mulch and things in the bottom to kind of fill it a little bit first. So you can see it's kind of starting to settle out a little bit. We can top this off with fresh compost next year. It's going to be great. But we just dumped the dirt in there. It didn't budge. It has a nice, thick, durable metal to it. Love it. I would like to, where our bunnies are, get some more beds to kind of wrap around and maybe eventually put some larger beds in here for my kids. I wouldn't get rid of these. We'll just repurpose them somewhere because they are usable, durable beds. But I would like to have a little bit more growing space in here. So you can kind of see the difference. This is the sky blue color. This is a 9-in-1. They have a couple different configurations you can do, but we just did the standard long garden bed. You can make them more square. You basically get the 4 corner pieces and then a bunch of sides. So you can kind of decide if you want it to be square or a long rectangle, but I really do love them. We got a really good deal. They have a Labor Day sale going on right now, but we did get a really good deal on Black Friday. And so that's why we finally took the plunge and invested in those. So you can see how long this garden bed is. It is really awesome. We have mostly carrots in here, along with mirrored on the other side. We had a ton of these go to seed, and I don't really understand because usually carrots go to seed on year 2. So I'm not sure what happened. And if they go to seed like this, they're not going to put a big root on. They're focusing their energy on their flowers. So we did have a few do that. I don't know if they got too hot. It's very interesting. Have not had that happen before. These were all just planted from seed. This garden bed does have some weeds in it, but it does have some carrots. I have been pulling some and just trying to thin them out. Look at this little shorty. This is an oxheart carrot. They grow really wide up top, real short like that. It's really fun. This one is an Amarillo carrot. It's one of the yellow ones. So still lots of carrots to be had. These will keep going. They're cold hardy. So we'll still get some bigger carrots out of here as the year goes on. This is my 9-year-old's garden bed. He's growing Amish paste tomatoes. He has some kind of melon in here. He did not label it. We'll have to see what that one is. I believe it is also a cantaloupe type melon. He did a bunch of peas in here. He has these beautiful zinnias. Kale. Kid loves kale. And sunflower. He's got a couple banana peppers in here too that are trying so hard to put on some flowers. Across the back, we had a couple cucumber plants. They're kind of ending their production here. And then we have this honey boat squash, which has a huge plant and just a few squash growing on there. And in our other small garden bed, we had our garlic in here. We've got a few onions that are about ready. They're still going. Those red ones are still going. The white ones over here are done, so we could pull those. And then I have the dreaded thistle. I've got to get these out of here. If you've been following, I'm having a war with thistles this year. They are everywhere. So that's pretty much this outdoor garden. If this was my only garden space, I would be very happy. It has produced a lot of food. It is doing really well. It's kind of the perfect size garden without getting overwhelming. And we really love it. We've got the cattle panel arches. They are empty for now. We just use them for peas this year. Normally we would use those for our pole beans, but we just did not get any planted this year. All right, Vego sent me their hose reel, and I'm so excited because they sent me the longest one they have. It's 130 feet. I'm very excited to get this out of the box, but I have to decide where it's going to go. You can put it on the side of a building, or you can put it on a post. So I'm just trying to decide the best place to have it because we use it for a lot of things, and I am so excited about that. I'm sure you've probably seen them on social media. A lot of people have been showcasing them, but I really am excited that they sent that along. So huge thank you to Vego for that. It actually is something that we very much needed here. We'll talk more in detail about that towards the end of the video if you're interested in it. And then I also wanted to show the other product that they sent me. This is probably the coolest seed starting tray I have ever seen. So it has a couple of aspects to it. And you can buy them separately as well. So we have our seed starting tray. It has a decent sized hole on the bottom. You can use the little lined dirt cups that you put in there. You could use the expandable ones, or you can just fill this with a seed starter. It has a bottom. You can bottom water through this, and it has a large capacity. So I'm very excited about this. Now the really cool thing is when you plant with this, you get this cool tray, and it has these little knobs on it. So what you're going to do when you have your dirt in here, I would show you, but I'm not starting seeds at the moment, so we'll showcase this again in the spring. You can push this down in here, and it will give you a little hole. You can either drop the seed right into here, or you can remove this, and you'll have a little divot where you can plant your seeds. And then the best part is, once you have a nice root ball in there, and you're ready to transplant these, you can tip it over, use the same tool, you pop it in there, and all of your starts are going to pop out. So cool. This little guy would be awesome, even if you're planting in a garden bed, to like lay this down and space your seeds how you want. I've seen a couple tools that you can get that do that, where they have different spacings on it and stuff, but you could just, if you want to do every other one, if you want them spaced further out, or every one if you're planting something that you want close together, but you could just push this into any garden bed or any soil and use it. It just has these little holes, and it gives you the perfect little depth for most of your seeds. You can just set it on there lightly if you're doing something more surface sown, or push it down in there. I got really excited when I saw this. I have not seen anything like it before, and I am very excited to give this a try this spring. So go check it out and let me know what you think. I will say just the quality alone too, like it is a good sturdy plastic. All right, up front here, we've got a couple of rows of hot peppers. The ones that are doing the best are the jalapenos back here. They have a ton of jalapenos growing. A lot of the other plants are still just trying to get their start. So we have flowers everywhere, and just the smallest little peppers so far. So these are serranos. We have so many plants in here. They will produce. I'm confident. We have a little bit of time left, but they're just in the early stages. This one up here is one of my favorites. This is the Buena Mulata. They're like a cayenne pepper. They grow like a long, purple, very hot pepper. So I'm not seeing a lot of starts on there yet, but every one of those little guys will become a pepper. These are pretty prolific, so excited about that. The next few rows back here, these are all sweet peppers. So we have a lot of King of the North bell peppers, Lesia peppers, mini bell peppers, all the things. Right now, not a ton of production. You can see it's a little bit weedy in here. I do not weed before I do these garden tours. This is just how I woke up in the morning. This is what everything looked like, so that's why it's chaos. I could come in here and pretend like we're more organized, but I'm not going to do that to you guys. We're chaos gardeners. Lots of little guys just thinking about growing, but they need a little bit more time. We have probably another month yet in here, maybe more in the high tunnel, so I'm not too worried about that. I have a volunteer tomato plant in here. It's some kind of cherry tomato. It extends from back there. It goes through 4 or 5 rows of these peppers. It comes all the way out over here. It is one of the biggest tomato plants I've ever grown. It's not tall because it's not staked or anything. It does have tons of tomatoes on it growing in here, and I'm just kind of letting it go. It has overtaken a lot of these pepper plants, but I love a good volunteer plant. It's always fun when you get some volunteers. More hot peppers in here. These are our poblanos. Poblano plants always grow these big, huge plants. I love that. So they're trying, they're going. This one over here is a serrano. We're starting to get some little ones on there. Lots of cool peppers in here. Then we get to the chaos, the jungle. That is massive. These, believe it or not, are atomic grapes. I don't know why they're so big. We have so many varieties in here. I could get into it, but I think I'll do a separate video just on tomatoes. These rows have been tied up a little bit less, weeded less, and pruned less. You can kind of tell they're a little worse for the wear. As we go towards the back of the high tunnel, here's our mushroom baskets. I just pulled some huge ones out of here that were nice and red. As you go towards the back, you get to more of the well cared for rows. This is probably the most important row to me. This is our Amish paste tomatoes. We do a ton of canning with paste tomatoes. There are some in here that are easily 9 feet tall. Well beyond what I can trellis. Lots and lots of production. Then we get to our last couple rows, and these are also just extremely tall. They're almost up to the arches in this high tunnel. These are all of our cherry tomatoes. We have some purple bumblebee over here. Let's see if I can find some ripe ones. These are really cool because they grow, they're not quite ripe, but they're red with green striping on them. I really like that. We have Tommy Toes. Those are kind of your standard cherry tomato. We also have black cherries back in here. These I could pick probably 5 pounds a day out of here right now, just in cherry tomatoes. I've never grown them this big and this productive. I am super proud of these this year. I think the difference was just compost. We did have really weedy compost, but it did have nutrients in it. It did work. We have some gigantic, super tall tomato plants that we're really happy to be growing in here. We also have, oh gosh, it's actually difficult to walk through here at times because it's such a wall. And they're producing all the way up here. There are tomatoes way above my head and flowers up top. Just wild. We have a big carpet of cucumbers back here, and then I have a couple of Kajari melons, which I'm really excited about. They are not ripe yet. This one's growing between 2 fences, so I'm not sure how that's gonna do. But we've got some nice big ones. I'm surprised with how big they got, and a couple of smaller ones. So these, I'm just waiting for them to get a little color to them. Don't want to pick a melon too early. It's really tempting, but I'm just trying to hold out. I do have a couple little ones that are trying to start, but I don't think they'll have enough time. So I think the 4 that we have, we planted a couple of plants in here. I think the 4 that we have is pretty much what we're gonna get. We just have to wait and see how they do. Got some zucchini back in here. They kind of take up this whole aisleway. I'm not complaining. We have some volunteer sunflowers in here as well. But that's pretty much it for the high tunnel. It's just production, production, production. So much tomatoes. These, compared to my tomatoes in the outdoor garden that you will see, it's just unmatched. Having a high tunnel is amazing. I'm so happy that we invested in this when we did. And then we get to use it year after year. We're just going to keep improving the soil in here and working on it. But there you go. That's our indoor garden. Towards the end of the garden, you might start to get some of these funny shaped cucumbers. Just getting less pollination or less growth. These are perfect for those end of the garden pickles, so I grabbed a whole bunch of them. We'll go ahead and add these to our veggies. You can also use some of these small squash, so we're gonna go ahead and pick some of those, pickle them up. All right, so we got some zucchinis, we got some carrots, a good amount of cucumbers, and then I do have beans as well. And then I'm gonna buy some peppers from the store since ours are a little bit behind and add those in. But this will be one of our next projects, the end of the garden pickles. So I'm kind of excited about this one. Just put all the goodies in there. I do have small onions and some garlic that'll go in there as well. All right, before we go set up our new hose reel, I'm gonna show you my outdoor garden. It's not much, but it's still food. So I say this a lot. If your garden isn't picture perfect, that's okay. If you're growing more weeds than veggies, that's okay. As long as you are getting some food out of it or learning something about what you're growing, then you're doing a great job. My onions, talked about this in an Every Bit Counts challenge video, were small, kind of a fail, but there were so many of them that it actually produced quite a bit of food. So we will have onions to eat, but it's not always the most beautiful thing. This whole area here is tomatoes. A lot of them are laying on the ground and getting eaten by critters because I did not trellis all of these. I did trellis some on that one, but most of them I forgot to tie up before they had rooted down along the ground, and then there wasn't a whole lot I could do about it. But they're growing food, and that's okay. We are not perfectionists here. So if you want to hang out with us, you can be a little bit of a mess too. I have somewhere in there a patch of green beans. We did pull green beans out of there, but then I kind of gave up on it because it's just getting to be too much. We've got cosmos and tons of sunflowers. Most of them are volunteer sunflowers. And then we have a big row in front of all these sunflowers. All the way down we have pumpkins, which are growing some pumpkins. So lots of varieties of pumpkins, but most of them are just little guys right now. So we'll see what we get. My main goal with pumpkins is to get a couple of pie pumpkins and a couple of carvers for the kids. So nothing major, but we grow them just for fun. So out here we have also already pulled up our potatoes and onions. The rest of it has been overtaken. I've weed whacked this, I don't even know how many times, but I have nothing but a few zinnias out here. So I'm not really bothering anymore. Kind of looks like something just laid down out here. I don't know. That's the outdoor garden, the in-ground garden. I will say the garden beds are just so much easier. Designated spaces, designated walkways. I know that it's not feasible for everybody, but if you can grow in raised beds, whether you're making them or buying them, it's just so much easier to weed and organize and stay on top of. If you're growing in ground, especially if it's old hayfield, it gets away from you, or at least it does for me. But we are gardening a huge amount of square feet plus running a farm, so stuff's gonna get away from you. That's okay. A really quick update here on our outdoor garden that we decided to mow down. This is part of our perennial garden. I had a video, it's about we mowed our garden or something like that. I can link it. We have this beautiful perennial garden with all kinds of irises and tulips, lovage, all kinds of good stuff in there. But we had this front part that we were planting each year with different flowers. We do have a couple perennials out here like the marshmallow. But what ended up happening is it just got thistles in it, and they started going crazy. And when we tilled it, we didn't realize there was a thistle problem. When we tilled it, it just spread it and made it so much worse because little pieces of roots become new thistle plants. We tarped this for probably about 6 weeks with a pond liner. We now have cardboard laid down, and we're in the process of putting compost over top of this, just a topsoil compost mixture. We're going to spread it out over this and plant some grass, and then next year this will just be lawn that I can mow like the rest of it. If we start to get some thistles, we can mow them. I find that's the easiest way, just keep mowing them, dig them up when you can, but just stay on top of it because I really don't want them getting into the rest of this. There's not much I can do without losing some really cool stuff over here. So we're working on this. We have all of these cardboard boxes down, and so far everything is working good. I don't know that we'll get grass established this year, but we are going to plant some just to try to get something there rather than weeds. And then the kids will have this huge yard to play in, and then their stock tank pool is over here. So we're just giving it back to the kids for now. Maybe it'll be a garden later on, but there's the update on that. When we pulled up the tarp, there were no signs of thistles. The only thing that had survived was the hollyhocks, which we have hollyhocks all over here. They grow like weeds. Little tiny sprouts of hollyhocks that were still just trying. So speaking of the perennial garden, I think I've decided we're going to put our hose reel right along the wall here. Let me show you. I got a helper because this hay equipment broke.
We don't need instructions. This thing's so easy.
We're going to take a look at this hose reel. So right now we have a hose connector that comes right here. This is like a little breezeway that we have between our house and our garage, so it's perfect. We already have a post here, otherwise you could put in a wooden post. But we're gonna hook this guy up here. I did measure it. It is 100, I didn't measure it. Ryan measured it. It's 100 feet from here to the front of my garden. So then we'll have 30 feet beyond that. So it's the perfect spot. We can use it to fill the pool we've got over here. Hot tub. Our perennial garden is what we're standing in right now. We'll be able to water that. And then the front garden, the greenhouse, everything. So it reaches the meat birds. It's perfect.
No more hoses over the driveway.
No more hoses over the driveway. This is the size that we needed, 130 feet. So it's a big hose reel. Which is why I got some help, because I tried to lift it out of the box and realized this was a two-person job. All right.
This is it.
Look at that. Nice. All right. This is our bracket here. Wow, easy. And then that just slides right in there.
Yep. Easy peasy.
All right. I'll go ahead and get this put in. Give it a try.
So multi-function hose end. Very nice.
It's like a high-powered nozzle.
A high-powered nozzle.
I don't know.
Oh, I'm washing my car later. Alright, and these things are quick adapters. Sprayer. Like that, and tighten it up. And then it fits around the end of the hose. Snap on, snap off. You just hold that in. Just hold this for a second. Thank you. Oh, okay. I'll make sure the hose doesn't get stepped on.
As big as me. Not too heavy. You would not have to put it this tall. We're putting it this tall because it has to go over plants in our perennial garden. But you could definitely put this at whatever height you want. And it pivots.
That is really nice.
That's so cool. So you could take it to the driveway like so easily.
Yeah.
Like out that way. Or go this way to the garden. Or you could pivot it. Go fill the pool.
So we've got our hose line here that comes from our outside our house, and we're just going to put this right onto it. Like that. And then on this end, we'll put those quick adapters. Put this nozzle on, like that, and then we'll just snap it on. All right. Turn the hose on.
All right. Here we go.
Did you hit the end of it right there?
No.
Still more to go.
There's still more to go. So I can get in here,
That's awesome.
meet birds, everything. That is a long hose.
Must be something where if you give it a little tug and then it comes back or something.
Back. Oh yeah.
Oh, there it goes.
Okay, so my first impression is that is awesome. It's easy to install, very few parts. It's a super long hose. When I was pulling it out and then you get to a certain point and you kind of hold it, then it doesn't retract anymore. So you can stand and you can do what you want and there's not a bunch of pressure pulling it. Then you pull it just a little bit further and it takes it right back. So we just walked it right back in here. It was super easy. I think even if you're not a gardener, but you use your hose for things and you need a nice long hose, this is awesome. It winds up in there. It's not going to get tangled or kinked or any other of your typical hose problems. I am super impressed. I really, really like it. We don't have to worry about people driving over it. We don't have to worry about just poor quality hose because we have our hoses get kinked and then the kids know to like go back and like track it and find where it is and undo it. And I mean, we have hose problems. I'm not making this up. This is like a legit thing that we deal with every single day. So I am really, really happy about this. First impression is that it's great. I will do an update as we use it, kind of how it works out and how long it lasts and everything. But right off the bat, I'm really impressed. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We appreciate every single one of you. I hope that you subscribe or are subscribed to our channel. We're also on Facebook and Instagram and on our blog, scottfinleyhomestead.com. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you on the next one. Bye, guys.